First, as I've always said, the matter that Andrew is facing is a personal matter. I'm not involved in his personal situation. The city isn't involved in his personal situation, and his personal situation was not involving the city. So having said that, there are other circumstances where his personal situation has become a negative reflection upon the city. And we do have investors who are investing businesses and money and resources within our city. We have residents that are taxpayers. We have city employees. So the reputation of the city is extremely important. So the only thing I'm concerned with is making sure that our reputation is intact with the state, as well as our other state delegates and other municipalities. And also just want to make sure that the residents know that during this time of uncertainty, we have strong leadership. We have a great city commission. We have a great acting city manager. His name's David Deutsch. Google him.
We will.
Yes. So we're doing a lot of good things. We have a lot of good projects. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's mainly about making sure our reputation is intact and making sure that the business of the city is still continuing. There was a statement put out by the commissioners of Cambridge that we did request the resignation of Andrew Bradshaw as mayor. And instead, what he offered and what he's currently on is an unpaid leave of absence. So what the unpaid leave of absence does, it gives us the opportunity to still operate so we can still continue doing the business. Myself, as being the commission president, gives me the ability of operating, I wouldn't say as a mayor, but give me the ability of operating with the duties and responsibilities. This is a step forward. This is a step in the direction that we want to go in, which again, it's about securing the reputation of the city and also making sure the residents and investors understand that that's something we're going to take all options through the law, through the charter to make sure that we can protect our city. So I guess a nice way of saying it is he's made a step forward. That isn't what was requested of the commission. And also in the statement, it says, we're going to take all options possible through the law, state laws, local laws, as well as through the charter. So whatever that may be or whatever that may look like. So this is a step forward. This is not the result we were looking for. But at the same time, we have to follow a process and we still have to be fair. Because the charges that are pending against Andrew, it states that you're innocent until proven guilty. So we're not overly concerned about his personal matter. It's more or less about we just want to protect the reputation of the city. I do believe it would bring challenges, especially with us moving forward, trying to find a permanent city manager. David Deutsch, that situation there, that negotiation isn't complete, so it's not final to say he will be gone at the 31st, at the end of the year. December 31st. So we're still working on some things. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to find some sort of common ground so that we can still keep him on board to be the chief the chief executive officer of the city. He has a lot of great knowledge and resources and networks that can help to continue move us forward. And also, either way, he's still a part of the recruitment process for the acting, for the replacement of the city manager. We already formed a search committee, and he's going to be heading the search committee. And he's really close with getting a brochure completed, and the brochure is actually used to put out throughout the state or throughout the United States. To make everyone aware of what the city of Cambridge is, what we offer, so we can get some very qualified and attractive candidates.
What kind of feedback are you getting from your constituents about this? What was the reaction you heard from people people you represent, once everybody saw the very, let's say, graphic charges that were filed against the mayor?
Just a level of being extremely surprised, extremely surprised. I can tell you from my interactions with Andrew, he's a very careful person, very smart man, extremely smart. And those were the same responses that I received from the constituents. They were extremely surprised, and that's not something anyone would have ever expected. And again, that's the reason why I said I wish not to speak on that personal matter, because it's something he's enduring. And to be honest with you, I really wish him well through this situation. I don't know the details of the situation. I wish not to speak on the details of it. It's his personal matter.
Have you found this to be stressful in your inner workings?
Oh, absolutely, because he's a teammate. We don't have our teammate at this moment. So, and there was a vision of the 6 of us, because everyone was newly elected. There was a vision that we were going to create this, the city of Cambridge that everyone speaks of. We wanted to make all these networks and make all these connections and the new developments, and almost like a utopia, almost like a perfect society. So yeah, I'm definitely personally I'm heartbroken, because he's definitely a teammate, but we have to stay focused, and we have to focus on what's important, which is the business of the city, and making sure the residents know, and the taxpayers know, and the investors know that they have good leadership. We still have 5 very solid city commissioners, although we don't agree on everything, but we still work very well as a commission, and we're extremely unified.
Well, you mentioned this waterfront development, and I guess the big news this week was that Governor Larry Hogan signed off on a huge redevelopment grant for various projects around the state. We understand that about $1.2 million of that is for the demolition of the hospital, which is a big cost. And this, of course, is to clear the land for some eventual mixed-use waterfront development. This is kind of a critical time for that. Is the council able to effectively handle the situation?
Well, we already were forming a decent relationship with CWDI. The city already has a great relationship with DHCD. So that's still moving forward.
DHCD, I'm sorry, for those who don't know.
Department of Housing and Community Development. They're the ones that's writing the check. Okay. The $1.2 million check, they're the check writers.
You hear that, everybody? That's important.
They are the bank. That's who they are. So, with us already having this relationship, and, although we may not have a mayor at this moment speaking on behalf of the city, the business is still moving forward. I believe the transfer, the closing of the property for the city should be completed the end of this year. CWDI, they're really doing a great job with negotiations with the hospital.
That's the development entity, the nonprofit development entity that the city set up.
Yes,
correct?
That's correct. I don't have the specific details yet, but I can promise everyone that's going in the right direction. And I've spoken with Owen McEvoy. He's the he's the assistant deputy director of DHCD, and he assured me that they're still in support of the city. So the business is still moving forward.
There's some other projects out there that I think a lot of people are talking about. Mace's Lane, the redevelopment of that school, I think was it the elementary school that was closed down, or the old one, not the new one, obviously. And then things like I think there's supposed to be a pavilion, I think, over the Tubman wall, and I think for the new cannery that's being developed.
Yes. And
are things moving on those fronts?
Yeah, they're definitely still moving forward on those fronts as well. With Mace's Lane, the reason why the project seems to be delayed is because we're in the middle of COVID, so the later we wait, the more expensive the cost is for the development. So as of this moment, $4.5 million has been raised. They need a total of $7.5 million. So we're just about halfway there. So that development, it is moving forward. I'm not able to be on they have weekly meetings. I'm not able to be on every weekly meeting, but I do participate in those meetings. As far as the packing house, that's definitely moving forward as well. I don't know if anyone has noticed, there's a trail in the back of the packing house that's been completed. So we're doing a lot of great things in Cambridge in spite of this time of uncertainty that we're having at the moment. I would say a huge achievement, and I have several that I could choose from. And I know I spoke on this previously, that David was actually able to get together a job description for an Assistant Director of Human Resources. And that's extremely important for the city employees. So job description has been completed. From my understanding, it's been posted, so they're just waiting just for the pool of applicants to flow in. So that's very, very satisfying. We did make some grounds in housing. Something that we're able to do is with the new ordinance, or I believe it's Ordinance 1187, is it makes the landlords responsible for having tenants who are not the best citizens, meaning they break the law, meaning, you know, they make our neighborhoods unsafe. So very proud of that. We just need to have the opportunity to make sure the landlords understand, look, we have this ordinance that's out, you know, we need you to take more responsibility on who you're putting in your properties, because the people that are being put in these homes and in these properties, they're the culture of the neighborhoods. So that's really the only way to fix it. You know, there's many angles. You got to have good policing. It takes a good community, but it also takes a good landlord to say, no, I can't do business with you. But what it does is, let's say if any police agency reports to any one residence 3 times in a 30-day period, there's a possibility that that landlord would be fined or either lose their license if they don't have a conversation with that tenant, making them aware that these activities, they're unacceptable. Yes, they have to take some ownership of it, have a talk with them to say, look, I'm a shareholder in this community, and what you're doing is making me look bad. So if you can't fix these behaviors, you know, there's a possibility, you know, we're going to have to end this business relationship. We're going to have to end this lease.
You've been outspoken in the past about calling out to the community itself to cooperate better with the police, to talk when people know things, not to sort of follow the code of silence. Has that gained any traction?
It's really not. I would say there have been small gains. It has not been an overwhelmingly change in the community, but as long as you have one person that speaks out and say, look, you know, this crime that happened, I have some information, there's a start. And I think that's an opportunity the Cambridge Police Department can use to recognize that more time and energy needs to be put into community policing. You know, we need to rebuild these relationships. And some of these relationships actually have never been built. We just need to build relationships. We need a stronger community policing department. And, you know, even if they have to reach out to the outside, if we have to reach out to the outside to maybe another agency or another person who has had successes in community policing, we need to do something. And myself personally, I was connected with Melvin Russell. At one time, he was the chief of, and I could be saying the department wrong, but in so many words, he was the chief of community policing for Baltimore City. And when the riots happened in Baltimore with Freddie Gray, there was a documentary that was put out, and he was like a focal person, he played a very important role with trying to build the relationship between the police department and as far as the residents. And I know a lot of people, they're going to say, well, they couldn't fix Baltimore City. That's Baltimore City. That's going to take many years to fix. But I look at it from the point of, you know, if a person has successes and if it worked, even if it worked in a small, isolated east side of Baltimore, I mean, why should it not work here in Cambridge, a population of 13,000? And, you know, in this area where the crime is happening, it's not hundreds of miles. It's probably maybe a 5-mile radius. So it's just a matter of finding out who the players are, because it's not everyone. Most of the time, I think it's maybe 10 to 15 people. So if we can find out who these 10 to 15 people are who are terrorizing the neighborhoods, either give them an opportunity to change their life or give them an opportunity to go to jail. Let's be real for a moment. That's what needs to happen. And, you know, and the thing about it is some of the struggles that we're having is it's the, I guess you could say it's the effects of the decisions in the past. So, for example, when you look at all the housing apartment communities that's located in one area, it should not be that way. Those communities should not be that concentrated. So it almost seems as if it was intentional, you know, because if you think about it, in the 1960s when Gloria Richardson, when they had the protests because they wanted better housing and they wanted better treatment, you know, of the minority residents, or I guess they weren't minority, I guess we could say the black residents of the city of Cambridge. Then that's when the Treaty of Cambridge came along, and then that's when we had the housing apartments, or some people call projects. That's when that was developed. But it's like when you put a large number of people together in one area, and it's like if there isn't a certain stimulus to make people want more, what else can happen but worse?
So I know the city's going through a rough patch right now. How optimistic are you? Are we going to come out from under this cloud? Is 2022 going to be a good year for the city of Cambridge?
Yeah, the only way we can go is up from here. Something I've learned in life, there's a time for everything. You know, there's a time to live, there's a time to die, there's a time to harvest, there's a time to plant. And this is our time of uncertainty, and then we're going to have our time when we know we've seen the light. So it's not over. We're just a little bit of a cloud we have over us, but as long as we continue to move forward, follow the charter, make smart decisions, have trust in the leadership, continue to network and communicate with the state, we'll see our way through this. I know we will.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Cephas.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking